a class, methods class, and inside that class I have created a main method by default so that we can call the methods inside the main. So let's begin with creating a basic method, say public void, and let's give it some name, say do this. So the name of the method is do this, and this is the scope of the method. So whatever code that we will write as part of this scope, that will get executed whenever do this is called. So for now, all I'm going to write is do this executed. Now method as such doesn't get executed by itself when you run the program. If I run this program, nothing is going to get executed until we call the method. Now let us create the object of methods class inside the main method, and then by using that object let us call do this. So to create the object we will use methods, let's say m, you can give any name to the object, methods m, that is where we are declaring the object, and then new keyword to instantiate it, and then the constructor. Okay, so this is how we create the object of any class. And with respect to the class, when you call m dot do this, and now when you run the program, do this gets executed, means whatever code as part of that do this method gets executed. So very basic method. There is some importance to public and void. For now, don't worry about it. We are going to see these concepts in the upcoming sessions. In fact, the concept of void we are going to see in the same session towards the end of the session. Okay, so for now we have a method with some name, and the scope of the method is these open and close brackets, curly brackets, and whatever is the code as part of that method gets executed whenever you call that method. Okay, this is a basic method. It doesn't have any arguments. Now let us create a method with arguments. Let us say public void addition, and we are going to add num1 and num2 and show the output in the console. So if you do something like num1 plus num2, Java will add num1 and num2 and then display the value of addition in the console. So if you look over here, for the method addition we have two integer arguments, and at the time of calling this method we need to specify those. So when you do something like m dot addition, provide the value of num1 as 100 and num2 as 200. So this 100 will be treated as num1, 200 will be treated as num2. They will get added, and when you run the program you see 300 in the output. So to create a method with arguments, provide the arguments in the brackets, just like this over here. Now how does a method return some value? Both of these methods are not returning anything. When a method is called, the code that is part of the method, that is just executed. But how to return the value? We can return the value from a method by using the keyword return. Okay, let's create a third method for that. Public and void, say multiply int num1 and int num2. So in this case we want to multiply the value of num1 and num2 and return the value. So let us create a third variable num3, and inside the num3 let us say num1 into num2, and let's return the value of num3. So to return a value, the keyword that we'll use is this return keyword. Whenever we are not expecting anything returned from a method, we write void before the name of the method. That is the importance of void. Whenever you see void, it means the method is not expected to return anything. Method cannot return anything. And whenever we expect a method to return something, we need to specify the data type at the place of void. Instead of void, we will specify the data type of the value that method is returning. So in this case, this specific method is returning integer value, so we'll write int over here. So this int is simply saying that method multiply is going to return an integer value. How do we call a method when it is returning something? Simply say int x is equal to m dot multiply, say 10 with 20. So what's going to happen? 10 and 20 will get multiplied, and the value from num3 is going to get returned in the x variable. So we are creating another variable x inside this main method, and whatever value is going to be returned from this method will be taken inside x, and then you can use it for further processing, further operations, whatever. In this case, I'm just going to display the value in the console. So when you run the program, you see the value of x over here, which is nothing but the multiplication of 10 and 20. So simple three types: a basic method without any arguments, or a method with arguments, and a method with arguments and which returns something. So when you call a method that returns something, you can get your variable to accept that value. So whatever is returned can be stored. Okay, now can we use these methods in a different class? Yes, this access specifier, this public or private or default, there are different types which we'll see in detail in the very upcoming sessions. If the access specifier allows you to do that, then definitely you can use methods from a class into a different class. So just to take an example quickly before we end this session, let us create another class in the same package. Let's call it as temp, and let's create a public method inside the temp. Now over here, let's create the object of methods class. So methods, say m1 is equal to new methods, and with respect to this m1 object, I can call the methods from methods class. So say add 10 and 50, and m1 dot do this, and say int y or u, whatever, is equal to m1 dot multiply, say 20 with 50, and show the output of u in the console. Same thing that we have done over here, we are able to do it over here inside a different class. So a new class is using my methods class. So in the other words, I'm saying a new class is using the intelligence that is created in the methods class. So what are methods? They are showing the actions of a class. They are basically telling us what a class can do. Okay, and when you run the temp class, you see the output as something like this. That is addition, do this, and multiplication. So this is the basic concept of methods. In the next session, we'll understand the very important concept of method